Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Bourbon Rookie. I am the Bourbon Rookie. My name is Kevin. I'm going to be doing something or introducing something, a new segment. Basically, I'm calling it the double dip. So I'm going to be double dipping. Double dip could be anything. But I'm not going to tell you what it is until I put out the video. The double dip is basically tonight going to be a cigar pairing, or actually a whiskey pairing with a cigar, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. I'm going to do the Knob Creek Kentucky Straight Bourbon 9-year. Now, the last thing we need is another review of this bourbon. Everybody that is into bourbon pretty much knows what this bourbon is all about. It's a solid bourbon. It's a hit widely across the bourbon world. It's basically it's 100 proof, 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. Is the basically is the mash bill. Basically, if you go on the Knob Creek website, it gives you a description of the bourbon. This, if I didn't mention, this is 100 proof. But doesn't this sound delicious? So this is an unflinching balance of deep pre-prohibition style bourbon with a robust oak taste, complemented with hints of smooth vanilla and layered caramel. Excuse me. So if that's the main description of the bourbon, then I'm gonna see what kind of I'm probably gonna pair this with a cigar that's a little out of character for me. Warzone. So now this cigar basically is an Espinosa cigar, Eddie Espinosa. It's an Espinosa cigar, right? And get that camera to focus in. Basically, I buy boxes of these. These cigars are actually a very, very good value, especially if you're buying out of New York. I don't need to explain about the New York market with 75% tax on cigars, much less liquor. If you're into weed, though, it's great because it's only 13% on the tax. But basically, what are they saying about this cigar? Is basically a, from what I'm reading, it's made in Nicaragua. It's Nicaraguan, basically. It's made in Nicaragua at their factory. We've got a Honduran and binder and fillers from Colombia and Nicaragua. Colombia is the fascinating aspect of this because I don't really see a lot of Colombian cigar leaf being used in cigar manufacturing or production, excuse me. Maybe that's something that's going to be a hot product right now because it seems like I don't know. I'm usually a fan of Dominican leaf, and I'm not seeing a lot of production out of the Dominican market. So Nicaragua's still pretty solid, but so we got the Colombia aspect to the fillers, and Espinosa is teamed up with General Cigar to basically handle the distribution. So this is probably going to be widely out there, this particular cigar. I've punched the end just because the ring gauge on this, I think, if I remember right, I think it's a 46 by 6 or a 7. Nope, my bad. It's a 48 by 6.5. It's the short Churchill. So I'm going to get into these. I'm going to probably like this with a wooden match because that's my thing. And I'm going to take this outside because the one thing that's very, very hard to do is to do a cigar review in your house. Unless you have like a really cool man cave with, the proper humidification to really get into it. So I'm in New York. We've got a pretty fairly, for this time of the year, comfortable night. So I will be putting on the sweatshirts and I'll be switching over to a knit hat, and we're gonna get into the meats of of this double dip.
Hey guys, so I'm back. And like I said, we've been blessed with a pretty mild night. It's starting to feel a little bit more humid, getting a little bit more cloud cover. They're calling for rain, snow mix tomorrow. But as you can see, I've got my cigar lit. And what I didn't mention before was that the wrapper on this is a African Cameroon. So this is an African Cameroon wrapper. And the flavor notes from the website, leather, black pepper, cedar, and earth. And they have this listed as a medium to full-bodied cigar. Now, right away, as I've got this thing lit, I'm getting that, to me, I'm getting the cedar and the black pepper and a bittersweet taste to the foot, which I am personally, in my opinion, attributing to the Cameroon wrapper. Cameroon wrapper tends to give off a little bit of a bittersweet, or sweet/bitter, however it floats around on your palate, however you want to describe that. So again, this is a reliable. I want to see how the leather, the black pepper, the cedar, and earth notes pair with the caramel and vanilla, and even in my opinion, the nutty profile of the bourbon. So I got my cigar going. I got that nice. Now look, I don't know about leather. I see leather being used as a tasting note even with bourbon. I don't know if you're licking your shoe or any of the belts that you use to keep your pants up, but I don't really know where they get a leather tasting note. However, when you see earth or the earthiness, or maybe even like, I kind of get that, even like an earthy kind of a grassy note, which would be the cedar. Leather, I just think we should leave out of tasting notes altogether, because I just think it's a silly thing to have to describe your experience, whatever it is you're having. So I should be doing the whole thing, but I wanted to do like a quick double dip. That's the whole thing. I wanted to come out and smoke a cigar. I'm double dipping and doing a video. So I'm outside. I've already got the retrohale of the cigar in my sinuses, so it could be affecting the overall notes to the nose that I'm getting. Like I really have to suck in some air in there especially with this nose. So I'm getting like a brown sugar, cinnamon. I guess I'm getting a little bit of that. Now I'm starting to get not the butterscotch, the caramel. It's a great nose from what I'm getting. Like I said, probably my nose is a little bit muted from the cigar and being outside. Very little ethanol, very little traveling. There's really not anything traveling into the sinuses from this. But the flavor is really good. It's just consistent. So, and on that third sip I just had. The baking spices I'm getting and the sweet, I am getting vanilla, and the sweet caramel. I'm getting everything from that the website said it was in its description. Now, as for the pairing itself, very hard. It's very hard to pair a cigar and a bourbon, because there's just so much going on in a particular cigar, and also so much going on in a particular bourbon, that you don't really want to rob one experience from the other. In this case, I have now the alcohol and the ethanol in the back of my throat, which I like. And I'm getting more of the sinusy aspect from the cigar. So again, I'm trying to decipher how this is pairing with the cigar experience, and I just got on the finish of that last puff on this cigar a little bit more of a sweet. I'm still getting the cedar and the black pepper, but I got a little bit more of a chocolate note, or a mocha note, or on the end going into the sinuses, which I think is coming from the pairing in and of itself. Sorry, I'm gonna hold this phone up. Wow, that's really opened up. It's fantastic. It's really good. Again, just consistent, you know. As it opens up, it's actually gotten a spice to it, and a sweet finish. So you get hit right on the back of your throat with a little bit of a tickle. It's still hitting the tip of my tongue, right? And it's overpowering the cigar enough that the cigar is not taking anything away from the bourbon, if that makes any sense. So far, it's an excellent pairing. The Warzone in and of itself is deserving of its own separate review, and I was going to do a separate review of the Warzone. However, I was really in the mood to smoke the cigar tonight and have a bourbon. So hence our new title called the Double Dip. So I don't want to keep repeating myself because I normally do and boring you. I'm going to get into this cigar and I'm going to get into this bourbon, and I'm not going to keep coming back like I usually do with a cigar, review in and of itself. I'm going to get into this. I'm going to sit out here and enjoy this unusually warmer weather that we're having, and I'm going to be back as I'm midway through this cigar and let you know my final thoughts on this. So as you can see, I've gotten pretty deep into this cigar, due to the increasing humidity and the temperature. I've had to correct. I really don't like correcting cigars too much, but I did correct this cigar. You can see it's got a beautiful white ash, and I've only ashed this thing twice. The ash seems to hold on. Excuse me. This has been an overall great pairing. Kind of did it off the fly. The pairing in and of itself, I don't know. I think, in my opinion, the Knob Creek, when I sip on the Knob Creek, it's a nice oily bourbon, and it's pretty viscous. So the flavors that I'm getting really complement the cigar well. So now when I take a puff on the cigar, that cedar profile is consistent. And I'm getting a cinnamony, is that a word? I'm getting a cinnamon sweet profile. And it's the flavors, it's the cinnamon and the sweetness have been pretty consistent throughout the smoke as I sip on the bourbon. I really love this particular ring gauge. I don't really like to go too high over a 52. I mean, I will smoke 60s, but I really feel that this particular ring gauge with this cigar, with that African Cameroon wrapper, you're getting more of the wrapper flavor in this cigar. So all those flavors from the bourbon, the vanilla notes, the caramel, it really brings out and complements the flavor of this cigar. And I'm pretty happy with the overall experience. If you get a chance, follow up, do the same. Let me know if you got the same experience out of it, and if there's any other pairings that you've tried, or if you're into cigars, and the pairing with in bourbon, and pairing bourbon with particular things. So with that, I'm going to say this has been a lot of fun for me. Really, really good pairing. And it's been fun doing it, to be able to do it outside, even though the temperature's dipping now. My hands are starting to get a little cold. And not have all the background noise of the cigar lounge. So stay tuned. Let me know if there's anything I could do better. And please, I'm starting to get some viewers, and I'm starting to gain some traction. Please subscribe. Let me know what I can do. Give me some tips on video editing, because I'm using whatever's in my computer, which is like the Apple, the iMovie. If there's any apps out there that make editing any easier without breaking the bank, let me know in the comments. With that, guys, have a great one, and we will see you next time on the Bourbon Rookie.